Now, dear student, this is Naveed Khan, your mathematics teacher. Now, dear students, in our previous video, we had discussed about measures of central tendency, mean, median, and mode. But right now, we will discuss measures of variation. Okay. So here in this video, we will discuss variance and standard deviation and also a range of the data. Okay. So let's have a now, dear student, in this question, the question number 1 is find the range for the following data. Here, this is the data set. So, in this data set, we have 101, 87, 89, 95, 99, 89, 107, and 96. Okay. So, how to find out the range of the data? So we will see the highest value here. So now look at here, the highest value which we have is 107. Okay, and the lowest value we have, the lowest data is 87. Now to find out the range of the data, highest value minus lowest value, okay, in the data set. So 107 minus 87, so the answer will become 20. Okay, dear student. Now look at part B. In part B, the same to find out the range of the data. So we will have highest value minus lowest value. Okay, dear student. So here, if we see in this data set, so the highest value which we have is 84, and the lowest value here we have is 44. So 84 minus 44, so the answer will become 40. Okay, this is also one type of the measure of variation, but right now we are going to discuss variance. Okay, variance is represented by v, simply v, but there is some special notation for the variance. Now to find out the variance, how far is the data set from the mean? Okay, to find out the mean, to find out the variance, so we know the dispersion between the data, okay, and we know the variation, how much is the variation between the data. So the formula which we use for the variance is sum of x squared divided by n minus sum of x divided by n whole square. Okay, so we are using this formula to find out the variance. You have another formula, but simply we use this formula here in your course. Okay, now to find out the standard deviation, okay, dear student, we are using the same formula, but it will be under the square root sign. Sum of x squared divided by n minus sum of x divided by n whole square. Okay, sum of x divided by n whole square. So this is the standard deviation, to find standard deviation of the data. This is the formula to find out standard deviation of the data, and this is the rule to find out the variance of the data. Okay. Now look at, my dear student, now in this question number 2, so the question is the following set of data represents the number of hospitals for selected states. Okay, find the variance. Here we need to find out the variance, and then we need to find out the standard deviation for the data. Okay, so this is in the data values: 53, 84, 28, 78, 35, 101, and 40. So how many numbers we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So total numbers we have 7. Okay, just keep it in your mind. So total numbers which we have are 7. Now, my dear student, you have to draw this line. No need for this one if you will do it directly by your calculator, but for the steps you need to draw this table. Here will be all x value. This is 53, and 84 and 28, 78, and similarly the other numbers. So now this is x. Now in this table, okay, it will not be given, you will draw x square. Okay, now this is 53, so here will be 53 square, and this is 84, so here will be 84 square, and here we have 28, so here will be 28 square. So after taking the squares, so now right now in the last row line, we will find out sum of all x. We will plus all the numbers, 53 plus 84 plus 28, 78 plus 35. So we will plus all the numbers. So here we will find out sum of x is equal to 429. Now in the second column, we will sum all x square. It means that 53 square plus 84 square, and at the end we will find out sum of x square is equal to 31,879. Okay, dear student. Now first of all, we need to find out the variance of the data. So this formula, just write here the formula. Variance is equal to sum of x square divided by n minus sum of x divided by n whole square. Now putting the values from the left side table, so this is sum of x square, its value is 31,879 divided by 7. This n means that total numbers we have 7, so we have to put this value, okay. Minus 429 divided by 7 whole square. Now after calculation, so this is our answer, 798.204. okay, dear student. And right after this, to find out the standard deviation, we will just simply take the square root of the variance. So its square root is 798.204. So just taking the square root, so the answer will become standard deviation is equal to 28.25. okay, I hope you understand this question. Now let's have a look for the second question. Now my dear student, look at this question. In this question we have incomes and gender. Okay, this question is about the income and gender, so we will discuss about the main income is for men and for women. Listed below are the yearly incomes of a sample of men and women in the state of New York. Find the mean and the standard deviation for the two data sets. Does there appear in the difference in the variation between the two data sets? Okay, so here we need to discuss three things. First, we need to find out mean for both the data. Then we need to find out the standard deviation for both the data, and then right after this, at the end, we need to find out whether there is a variation or not. Okay, if there is a variation, we will mention it. Okay, so here yearly incomes in dollar for men and for women. Okay, dear student, so here we have two data sets. One is for men and one is for women. First of all, we will find out the mean and standard deviation for the men, and then we will find out the mean and standard deviation for the women. So let's say, okay, so now in this slide we will find out the mean and standard deviation for the men. So here this is the data set for the men, 46,000, then 72,000, 48,000, 57,000, 53, and 56,000. okay, so here in the second line, second column, you will write here x square. okay, you need to write here x square. So 46, it will become 46,000 square, 72,000 square, here will become 48,000 square, this is 57, so in the next column it will be 57,000 square. So at the end you need to find out sum of x Okay dear student, you need to find out sum of x, and the right side you need to find out sum of x square. So here we have the answer. Okay dear student, right now in the question we need to find out mean. So how to find out mean? In the previous last video, measure of central tendency, we know how to find out mean of the data. So the formula which we have is sum of x divided by n. Okay my dear student, so sum of x we have is 3 3 2 0 0 0, and then divided by total numbers we have 6. Then here you will find out the mean of the data. Okay dear student, here will be the answer. Now right now we need to find out standard deviation, but before standard deviation we need to find out the variance of the data. Okay, so this is the formula to find out the variance of the data. Okay, putting the values like in the previous slide we had putting the values, okay, and then divided by 6. So our answer will become 61, and we have 62 and 0.22. This is the variance. Okay, and we know that to find out the standard deviation of the data, we will take the square root of the standard deviation, and here we have the answer 8439.32. This is the standard deviation for the men. Okay, now my dear student, we need to find out the same question for the woman. So is in the same way, here you need to write down all the data set for the woman, and in the next column it will become 48 square and then 32 square. Here you need to find out. Okay, you will write down like this, and in the last column you will plus all the values of x, sum of x, and the second column here will become sum of x square. Okay dear student, now after this you need to find out the mean of the data. So just putting the values, the formula to find out mean of the data in the previous video we have discussed in the previous slide, sum of x divided by n. Okay, putting the values here on this formula, so we will get 47,166.66. Okay, now to find out the variance of the data, so right here the formula, and we will put the values. After putting the values, so this is the variance of the data. To find out the standard deviation of the data, just take a simple square root of the variance. So here I took the square root of the variance, so here is the standard deviation. Okay, for the woman the standard deviation is 12,184.91, but for the men it was around 8,400 and something. Okay, so my dear student, so conclusion is the data for the woman is more variable. Okay, because the standard deviation for the men it was around 12,000. Okay, and for the man it was around standard deviation, it was around 8,000 and something. Okay, 8,000 and something. So now here we have a more variable, more variation, more dispersion. So that's why we say that the data for the woman is more variable. Okay, so thank you very much my dear student, and take care of yourself. Masalam, bye bye.